Hello and welcome. Thank you for your interest in the Walden Fire Station and Library Public Art Project. The purpose of this session is to provide additional context and overview of the call to artists for this public art opportunity currently on the Calgary Arts Development website and how you can make a great application. My name is Tracy Marie Wiley. I'm a white woman with long blonde hair and glasses, and my pronouns are she, her. I'm the main contact for this project. If you have any questions about this program, or if you want feedback about your application in progress, you can contact me at email address Walden, WALDEN, at calgaryartsdevelopment.com. Or you can call my work phone number, 403-264-5330, extension 132. Before we begin, I would like to give thanks for the beautiful land that we all get to live on and call home. I am grateful to the First Nations who have spent generations caring for this land called Mohkinstsis, and for those First Nations and Métis people that call this land home today. There has been art, music, dance, storytelling, and ceremony on this land since time immemorial, and it is in the spirit of this land and its people that we do our work. Arts Development, or CADA, is committed to open, fair, and transparent processes. Application assistance is available to ensure everyone can apply for this opportunity they're interested in with tailored assistance. CADA will work one-on-one with applicants who experience barriers to access to develop accommodations that suit their unique abilities and situation. If you are looking for assistance or have questions about eligibility, please reach out to us before applying. You can email the Public Art team at publicart@calgaryartsdevelopment.com. Or you can reach out to me directly using the email and phone number at the beginning of this presentation. CADA is seeking a professional artist or an artist team to join the City of Calgary's Walden Fire Station and Library Project team to create permanent public artwork for a combined fire station and library being built for the community of Walden. This opportunity is open to professional artists or artist teams across Canada who are working in various media, which could include, but is not limited to, standalone artwork, permanent sculpture, functional artworks, and open programming space. Please note that for the remainder of this presentation, when I say artist, I mean artist or artist team. And when I say artwork, it can be taken as either singular or plural. Also, before continuing, I strongly recommend that you have already read the posted guidelines in their entirety, as this presentation is meant to only enhance your understanding of that material. At the end of this presentation, I will answer some frequently asked questions and once again share my contact details. The City of Calgary's interdepartmental public art team, which we refer to as IPAT, put forward a recommendation for CADA to consider incorporating public art as part of the Walden Fire Station and Library project. IPAT recommendations are forwarded to us, and CADA reviews these proposals regularly. This is one of the ways that public art proposals are submitted to CADA. CADA chooses projects based on how the opportunity supports artists, fills a gap in our programming and projects, and supports the creation of new public artwork in wards of the city that historically have a lower concentration of public art. This commission will see the selected artists lead meaningful, artist-led community engagement to come up with site-specific, permanent public artwork that acknowledges the fire station and library will serve as a central hub for the community of Walden and addresses the environment as a core theme, all while responding to the architecture and character of the building and considering its dual context as both a fire station and a public library. That's a mouthful, and a handful too. Artwork installation sites are somewhat limited as the city is set to begin construction on the building this summer. However, several potential sites have been identified, which I will show you on the next slide. Final art placement will be determined with input from the artists and in consultation with the larger project team once on board. The selected artists will participate in the design process for the remainder of the project. The artists will share their ideas at regular meetings with the project team and lead the artwork concept through design, and once approved, guide it through fabrication, installation, and completion. This slide shows a site plan of the layout of the Walden Fire Station, library, and surrounding public spaces. Of note is that there are plans to build a future kindergarten to grade 9 school across the road in the not-so-distant future. The blue dashed circles show potential locations for public art. This could be a single installation or a combination of areas. Given the presence of 2 separate tenants on site, multiple locations could create an interesting dialogue across the site and between the tenants. Note that the current temporary fire station is located right about where the blue oblong is on the left-hand side of the map. Artwork considered for this space would not be able to be installed until early to mid-2028, after the new fire station is active and the temporary one has been decommissioned. The entrance plaza is another area that could be considered for public art. I'll show a picture on the next slide. These 3 green dashed areas are envisioned by the project as a unified art response, as art installation in each of these spots would engage the public as they pass along on Walden Drive, the multi-use trail, and interact with the library plazas. Additionally, these areas serve as focal points from inside the library, allowing for engagement with the art while within the space. A 4th location on the west side of the site, near the fire station, not circled, could also be considered to balance focus between the library and the fire station. But something really important to note, and something that super excites me as a mom, is that the children's section of the library has been designed in such a way to allow the children to watch the fire trucks leave the station. It is critical that we do not block that view. This slide shows two images from the city's concept drawings. The first upper left image is the entrance. The first upper left image is the entrance plaza that I previously mentioned. The second lower right image shows the interior of the library, where artwork could be considered for placement directly underneath the skylights shown, surrounded by seating within the central area of the library. I also wanted to show an aerial view of the concept drawing, as the building itself is really a beautiful design and fits in so well with the surrounding landscape. I'm very excited to see what our artist comes up with. Larger versions of these images can be found on the City of Calgary's Walden Fire and Station and Library project page, and within the pages of the guidelines. The intent of this project is to design an integrated public artwork that creates more dynamic and inspiring spaces in the community while strengthening a sense of ownership. The artwork should also address the building's role as a central hub with two distinct functions, reflecting Walden's community identity while fostering civic pride. And whether through concept, themes, or materials, the artwork is intended to engage, communicate, educate, and build awareness of our relationship with the natural environment through public art, informed by research and meaningful engagement with community members, subject matter experts, knowledge keepers, and/or historians. And finally, to create as permanent as possible artworks that can be enjoyed by all Calgarians, especially those in Walden. Here's a quick overview of the Walden project timeline. The call for submission is currently open and will stay open until 1 p.m. on Tuesday, July 28th. If you need help or want feedback on your application in progress, please contact me no later than July 14th so I can help in a meaningful capacity. The deadline is July 28th at 1 p.m. After this, applications will be evaluated by the assessment committee, who will shortlist a few candidates for interview. The selected artists for the project will be announced in late September. Once onboarded, selected artists will begin work on their projects, planning and doing community engagement and developing their artwork. Starting next summer, once designs are finalized and have been approved, the artists can begin making their work and installing it at the site. Completed artwork must be installed by early 2028 to align with the City of Calgary's project schedule that has the library and fire station coming online in early 2028. However, it is important to note that any artwork planned to be located in the temporary fire station existing location will not be able to be installed until after the existing building has been decommissioned, likely mid-2028. The budget for this project is $275,000, with 25% of that budget going directly to the artist for their time, effort, and intellectual labor. This artist fee is fixed and not to change. The remainder of the budget has some flexibility and can shift depending on what the select artist ends up doing. For example, the artist might wish to reduce their budget for material and fabrication and put more towards engagement and research activities instead. As a starting point, we recommend 50% allocated for materials and fabrication, 7.5% for installation and signage. This project requires community engagement without the support of an association, so CADA recommends a minimum 5% for artist-led community engagement, with 2.5% set aside for design fees and a contingency of 10%. As I said, these percentages can shift. Artist fee is fixed at 25%. I wanted to share a little bit more about the community of Walden and talk about artist-led community engagement, which is a very important part of this project. Artist-led community engagement can include artist-hosted workshops, community meals, video screenings, or any sort of opportunity where the artist can meet people from the community, form relationships, and establish trust, all while getting a sense of who lives in Walden and what brings them together. Usually there's some kind of incentive for community members to come to engagement events. It can be free food, entertainment, honorarium, or even educational opportunities. Community engagement sessions can be advertised broadly, or the artist can opt for smaller interactions. Walden is a newer community in Calgary's southeast, located along McLeod Trail between 194th and 210th Avenue. The community features parks, pathways, naturalized wetlands, ponds, playgrounds, and wildlife habitat areas. As a newer neighborhood, Walden continues to evolve as amenities, services, and community connections develop alongside its growing population. I mentioned before that the Walden community does not have an active community association. Given meaningful artist-led community engagement is critical to the success of this project, it will be very important that artists can articulate how they would approach this. This opportunity is open to mid to late career professional artists and artist teams with a minimum of 5 years previous experience creating artwork in the public realm. Artists must have at least 3 outdoor permanent public art installations, each with a lifespan of over 10 years and a minimum project budget of $150,000 Canadian. We welcome artists from across Canada to apply for this opportunity. However, it is important to note that we do not have room within this budget for travel and away from home accommodation expenses. Artists would therefore be responsible for covering these expenses from within their artist fee. Artists must also be available for the duration of the project from September 2026 to the end of concept and design by July 2027, and then for phase 2, the fabrication and installation of the approved artwork, which starts during the second half of 2027 and continues into 2028. As always, CADA welcomes and supports applications from underrepresented artists. looking for an artist or artist team who is comfortable working collaboratively as part of a project team to develop a creative concept, who can center community engagement as a part of how the artwork concept is developed, with experience creating ambitious, engaging public artwork that responds to a specific site, artists who are good listeners and willing to adapt their approach based on what they hear, who have experience with large-scale projects and familiarity with materials, permits, suppliers, and creating work that lasts over time. For this opportunity, we are seeking site-specific public artwork that includes, but is not limited to, standalone artwork, permanent sculpture, functional artworks, and open programming space. Artists will need to upload examples of previously completed public artwork that are ambitious, creative, and engaging that meet the minimum requirements for this opportunity. Please do not submit any concept proposals, previous works only. Include for each image the title, date, size, budget, materials, and a brief description. You will learn more about this in the online application demonstration later in this presentation. It is critically important that if you collaborated with another artist, you must credit them by name and describe your role in the collaboration in the description section attached to the upload. Note that the description section is 100 words max. Artists are encouraged to take a movie credits approach and include the names of everyone who helped and in what capacity they did so. The selected artist or artist team will lead meaningful engagement with the community of Walden as part of research towards creating an artwork that is responsive to the site and the people who use it. Meet with Calgary Arts Development regularly over the duration of the project to discuss updates and issues. Participate with the city's project and conservator teams through regularly scheduled meetings to inform the development of their artwork. Design and create permanent artwork that is installed at the Walden Fire Station and Library site. Purchase and schedule material shipments and oversee fabrication of their artwork. Develop an installation plan and oversee the installation of their public art piece. Create a maintenance manual for the final art piece for the City of Calgary's records and ongoing maintenance. And celebrate the unveiling of their art. Remember, Calgary Arts Development staff are available to assist every step of the way. Who are the people who read over the applications and decide who gets this opportunity? Not CADA. Assessors are an independent committee made up of artist peers, community members, and subject matter experts. Members are chosen through public nomination and staff expertise and represent the broad diversity of Calgary and our artistic communities. Assessors are committed to open, generous, and respectful evaluations. Anyone can apply to participate in an assessment committee. Email publicart@calgaryartsdevelopment.com to self-nominate. The application process is competitive. The assessment committee will review all eligible and complete applications. Sometimes applications are sent to us ineligible or incomplete. These applications will not make it to the assessment committee. Decisions of the committee are final, and they reserve the right to select no applications. Committee members will rate the level to which they agree or disagree and/or their confidence that the applicant's response meets the project criteria. For example, if we ask you, what are some things you would put in place to ensure that a variety of community members are heard from? Assessors will read your answer to the question while considering a corresponding statement like, this application has listed a variety of methods to encourage diverse participation in their project. Applications are worth a possible total of 100 points. Assessors will rate how strongly applications meet eligibility criteria, how thoroughly applicants respond to the questions, and whether applicants demonstrate that they have the skills required to be successful when creating a long-lasting public artwork. The first 5 text answer questions are scored out of 70 points. The mandatory artist CV is scored out of 15. And the mandatory portfolio section is also scored out of 15 points. Artists shortlisted by the assessment committee will be asked to participate in a 45-minute online interview in mid-September. Interview questions will be prepared by the same assessment committee and sent to the shortlisted candidates in advance. The interviews themselves will be recorded and conducted by CADA's staff, who ask the same questions of all shortlisted candidates. The assessment committee will watch the recordings of the interviews afterward. This helps to maintain their anonymity and impartiality. How can you submit a strong application? By reading the entire guidelines text before entering your responses. Answer each question fully and note the total points allocated to each section. The more points, the more detailed your answer to the question should be. Don't worry about sounding fancy. In fact, directness will likely work in your favor. I will attend 2 bingo nights at the local senior center means the same thing as I will frequently engage in popular community activities. But the first sentence is more comprehensive and way easier for the assessor to understand. Make sure your CV is up to date and demonstrates the requirements. Provide clear examples in your app portfolio that show your unique style, approach, and artistic skills to highlight your ability to succeed in this project. Start your application early. Reach out to me with questions or to review your application for completeness up to 10 days before the deadline. For this project, contact me by July 14th at the latest with requests for help or review. And make sure your Smart Simple artist profile is complete and up to date. Speaking of Smart Simple, I'm going to share a video demonstration prepared by Public Art Coordinator Helen Hugh on how to use our online application software.
Smart Simple is the online platform for applying to our open opportunities. You can find the link to access Smart Simple from the Calgary Arts Development website located at the top of the home page here. Clicking Login, it will redirect you to the login page of Smart Simple. If you haven't already created an account on Smart Simple, you will need to create one by clicking on Register and selecting the account type you are registering as. This funding opportunity is available for individual artists and artist collectives to apply. Once you have registered for an account or log into your existing account on Smart Simple, please make sure your artist profile is complete or up to date. Once you have registered for an account or log into your existing account on Smart Simple, please make sure your artist profile is complete or up to date. You can complete or update your artist profile by clicking on My Profile located on the home page here. There will be a button on the bottom of the page that says Update Profile. Once you click Update Profile, you will be able to update all of the fields in your profile. And when you have completed your artist profile and applied the changes that are necessary, make sure to click Save My Work, as well as Submit Profile to save the changes. Now I will show you how to open an application. To open an application, start from the home page. Locate the Open Opportunities icon. By clicking Open Opportunities, you will be directed to the landing page that displays all of the open opportunities you can apply for. There will be a brief description of the project, and next to the brief description will be a button entitled View. By clicking the View button, you will be able to download a copy of the full guidelines for the project. When you are ready to open an application, click on the button that says Apply. When you are ready to begin your application, click Begin Application. Once you have begun your application, it should look like this. You'll notice the first tab is Contact Information. This is the information that is ported over from your profile. If you are registered as an artist collective on Smart Simple, you will have an additional tab for you to list the names of the individuals within your artist collective. As an individual artist, you will only have a Contact Information tab and a Submission Requirements tab. Requirements is where the majority of the application is and includes all the questions you will be asked to respond to for this call. The first question has no points. It's primarily feedback for us to know how you heard about this artist call. There will be 5 text questions we are asking you to respond to. For your portfolio, we are asking applicants to upload a minimum of 5 and a maximum of 10 examples of completed artworks. Acceptable file types include MP3, MP4, MOV, JPEG, JPG, GIF, PNG, and BMP. To upload files to your portfolio section, you can either drag and drop them into the sync area here, or by clicking Browse Files if you would like to select from your desktop's binder. Once you have uploaded the files to your portfolio section, you will need to add metadata and brief descriptions to each image, video, or sound files. You can do this by clicking on the pencil icon located just below each thumbnail of the image, sound, or video file you have uploaded. After clicking the pencil icon, a splash page will open and you will be able to enter the following information for the artworks you have uploaded: the title, the date your artwork was completed, the size of your artwork, the medium, a brief 100-word maximum description of your artwork, and the location where your artwork was completed. When you have finished including all of the details, make sure you click Save to save all of your work. Next, you will be asked to upload your curriculum vitae or CV. Make sure that it meets the following criteria listed here in the brief description and that you upload your CV in PDF format. You can upload your CV by dropping it into the sync area here or by clicking Browse Files if you would like to select from your desktop's binder. You can save as you go if you'd like to work on your application over a period of time. Save Draft will save all of the changes that you have applied to your application, and if you need to return to your application at a later time, you can find it from the home page by scrolling to the bottom of the page, and it should be located in the Draft section under My Applications. You will just need to click Open once you have located the application you would like to return to. You can click on Save and Validate, and Save and Validate will check for completeness of all mandatory fields for the application. And when you are ready to submit your application, click on Submit.
As we wrap up, I wish to remind everyone that the frequently asked questions section for this artist call is posted within the guidelines and will be updated regularly as more questions come in. If you still have questions after this presentation, please reach out. You probably aren't the only one with that question. Send your questions to Walden, W-A-L-D-E-N, at calgaryartsdevelopment.com. Here are some of the questions we have received so far. Can I apply for this project if I've received grants from CADA or have been selected for other CADA public art projects? Yes. Your involvement in other Calgary Arts Development opportunities will not affect your eligibility for this project. Is the artist's fee and production budget in Canadian or US dollars? The project budget is in Canadian dollars. Will the city's architectural team provide the structural backing and points of connection, or should the artist's budget account for foundations? This is a great question. Because the design for the fire station and library has already been completed, artists should plan for any footings to come out of their budget. However, we will look for opportunities to share the cost with the city where those opportunities exist. Are there any specific materials or coatings that the city strictly restricts for exterior public assets? There are no restrictions, but everything must be approved by an engineer and should adhere to community policies. Does the City of Calgary have any rules for public art? Yes. Structures require engineering approval and must comply with all current building codes. We also recommend reviewing the City of Calgary design consideration for artists. A link to this document will be posted in the FAQ shortly. Thank you so much for your interest in the Walden Fire Station and Library Public Art Project. I wish you the best of luck with your application and look forward to hearing from you either when reviewing your application or when answering your questions during the open call phase. Bye for now.